What is up? What is up? What is up? This is Edward with another broadcast show, another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. I want y'all to get up in here. We're gonna chop it up for maybe an hour, hour and a half. And I don't mean that, and then it's gonna turn into 3 hours. I may because I do have stuff to do, but I did want to throw my 2 cents out there on a couple of things. The Meg the Stallion thing is definitely going to be the main topic of conversation. Meg the Stallion, Cardi B, because I've definitely been one of the ones sounding the alarm. Not so much the alarm, but focusing some of you all's attention to kind of the river, the stream of where things going, with how these chicks, the transition between millennials and zillennials, and just keeping an eye on the ball as to how things change so it don't catch you off guard. That is all. It's actually crazy, man, being in a new spot. Very interesting indeed. Much better spot too, I might add. Motherfuckers sound like Get Out. So you may see me sitting down a little bit more on some shit like that. But I'm gonna tell you, this weather is starting to get on my damn nerves a little bit. It really is. All right. Guests are allowed. I'm gonna give a little bit my take on something, and then I'm like, give me 10 minutes, 15 chalk in, get some guests in here. So it's been some crazy stuff in the manosphere, right? People kill me. I ain't gonna lie. I heard the exchange with BGS, MOT, Artie Igmore, and I mean, I fuck with MOT heavy. Some of the stuff. I mean, MOT's a reasonable guy. It's just sometimes he stuff gets hyperbolic, and he goes there. He goes all the way to fuck there. Now, do I agree with what he said as far as ending folks? No, I don't. I'm more of a just leave folks just disconnect. Stop supporting what doesn't value you. That's all. That's all. But even we had the street dudes versus classic black men debates. It was never about, like, it never went that far. And my thing is, the manosphere is dynamic anyway. But it's not even it is different. But I'm not gonna lie though. One thing I will say BGS is right is a lot of these arguments are starting to show up. Like these Anthony Brian Logan arguments, these Brandon Tatum arguments. And the thing about it is, when we look at situations, you still have to look at them on a case by case. Like, I got Mr. Fantastic talk about a what about Chicago. And I mean, sometimes folks got to think before they say shit, because it's like, you make a title saying what about Chicago. I mean, that just proves what BGS is saying. I mean, that just absolutely proves it. I mean, what about Chicago? I mean, like, Chicago is really not that much different than any other black urban environment. They just like to use Chicago as a political lightning rod. I mean, think about it. We've had literally people do hour by hour commentary on Atlanta and the fuckery that is Atlanta, and you don't really hear nobody really say what about Atlanta. I mean, do you understand how much fuckery that goes on in Atlanta at like multiple fucking levels? And I'm not, and even Fantastic had to educate me on that shit. Talk about these hoes and finessing people. It's funny. But nobody says what about Atlanta. Even when I was talking about Platinum Elite and I said Memphis, I said, really, man, a lot of the shit that fucks Memphis up is 3 niggas. And as far as that single mother shit, that's so it's people love to say what about Chicago, and it's like, come on now, what do you mean what about Chicago? Because this is the thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna be straight like this: ain't none of y'all so fucking good that yo folks can't be a fucking Trayvon Martin. Ain't none of y'all, because understand something. Trayvon Martin, people could say what the fuck you want to say, but he was in the wrong neighborhood, the wrong complexion to be in the wrong neighborhood, and that wasn't even a cop that did that. His ass walked free too. So y'all gotta remember, it don't matter. These motherfuckers, especially a lot of these white Hispanics, but it's true white, they don't see what the fuck you do. Yeah, you can minimize situations, and nobody's talking about that. This is why I take stuff as a case by case basis. Because I approach dudes the same way I approach women, as far as your outcomes are your outcomes. And you gotta kind of let people be like that. Now, when people want to sit there and try to register folks as like a threat, the issue with a lot of that shit is we have I get where they're coming from, and I really do get where they're coming from, but you have to understand that at the end of the day, you gotta keep your circle small. And the thing about it is, I'm not. Here's the thing when it comes to me, I'm not on because here's what's funny. I don't mean to bring up people's names, but you individual. Ramil will agree with a lot of shit like Fantastic and MOT is saying. But at the end of the day, Ramil did a video talking about, hating on Pookie's. He didn't say hating on Pookie's, but he said just completely writing them off like whatever is some whole shit. And to a certain extent, I agree. People have a right to feel how they feel, but you got to meet people how they meet you. So the reality is, if you meet somebody and they have a past, but for what they're doing right now, it's productive. What at the end of the day, this ain't a bitch that you fucking. Are you invested in their past, or are you dealing with what they are now? And I've known enough dudes that can turn their life around. With that, and here's the thing. And I know a lot of black men are getting locked up for stupid shit. Now, if this black man is getting locked up for shit they need to be locked up for, I don't give a fuck. But if they're getting locked, we know the majority of black men in jail are in jail not even for dealing drugs, but for possession. And at the end of the fucking day, that shit is designed to keep a lot of black men where they are. And that's why I look at it from political prisoners, because the reality is we know the law is designed in such a way to allow other people to do the same shit. This is not me validating Pookies and Ray Rays, because as far as I'm concerned, the way you deal with Pookies and Ray Rays is it's not even so much punish. It doesn't. This sexual bullshit about who the bitches are fucking is irrelevant. The thing though that dudes need to do is what I would recommend MOT, what I personally agree Ramil does, and I Fantastic agrees with, and quite frankly BGS agrees with, is don't up these bitches. BGS has never sold y'all. BGS has been the vanguard of telling black men to not clean these bitches up. He's been the vanguard, the fucking vanguard for that. Even Fantastic used to say that. If he didn't agree with nothing else, you're gonna agree with BGS on that shit. And my thing is, all of this, when it comes to motherfuckers getting shot and shit like that, oh, well, you shouldn't have been there, because that's stupid. That's fucking dumb. You shouldn't have been there. Because there's situations, because I almost got into a little bit with Fantastic over that damn Georgia shit. And I was like, look, I could have been that dude. Because real fucking talk, I've gone up in under construction places all the time. In fact, I'm probably gonna do it Wednesday, because I gotta be out of this house. This fucking house has bed bugs. So now I gotta be out of it for 5 hours. And probably one of the things I'm gonna be doing is looking at properties across the county. So I'm gonna be in a lot of areas there. And in fact, if y'all don't fucking believe me, I will show y'all Wednesday. I'll shoot some of it on my phone. I'm gonna be in abandoned areas, and you are allowed to do. I don't know how Georgia law is, but I know here you're allowed to do that. And it ain't just white folks, it ain't just black folks. You got Hispanics doing that too, because they look at these houses, because these builders want these houses sold, and they're not really worried necessarily about people picking up shit and getting rid of it like that. They just want motherfuckers to see these houses that they halfway completed, so you can walk up in them. Even if they're not complete like complexes, like they're not whole areas. If they're one house, they do that. That's just something that's seen out here. And I've seen that in areas that are like mixed areas, or there's a big percentage of black people. Black people want to be in there. But obviously, I don't know Georgia, so I'm not going to speak on that. But what I'm saying is the idea of him doing that is there. And then what we have is now we got motherfuckers. I look at patterns. So what I'm seeing is okay, I'm on a panel with the Georgia shit. And now I'm not talking about Floyd. I'm talking about the shit where the dude was running, and then they basically came. These are dudes that are not even cops now. They came at him, shot him. They basically swarmed the dude for what? Because they were protecting something. That dude wasn't a direct threat. So if you want to call the police, go ahead and do that. But they want to do it under a citizen's arrest. Man, it doesn't like I see that pattern. I see, I'm wondering what these motherfuckers were when the Minnesota where these folks were when the dude the Somali cop shot the white woman that wasn't even an American citizen, and it wasn't even a debate. He went to jail, even though that was probably a legit accident. But they don't care because we see how they react when it's them in a black cop versus all this other stuff. And then when you look at George Floyd, that's on tape. It's the same thing with Mike Brown. That's on tape. And what's happening is when the Mike Brown shit happened, shit didn't pop off like this popped off. So it's not like it's the first time. And the thing that a lot of people need to understand too, back with the Rodney King shit, people burnt shit down, and Rodney King is still alive to this day. He just got his ass whooped. So ain't nobody like reacting to cops whooping people's asses. Ain't nobody even reacting to cops tasing people. We're talking about people actually getting killed on camera. And then the cops are looking like they don't know what the fuck they did wrong. And the question you really got to ask yourself is, this is why it's important to talk about macro situations and micro. You may have your personal feelings on things. I have my feelings on a lot of things, but sometimes it's best to just let that go. And then if a pattern kind of comes together, you then bring up all the stuff and then be like, okay, this is why I think the way I think, this, that. But what happens is people get caught up in wanting to be right. And as much as I run my fucking mouth, y'all know good and well, I'm not so right to where I just keep on digging. I just don't. I'm gonna be real with it. I was on, who was it? Who the fuck was it? I can't remember who. No, it wasn't Bishop Redfield, because I ain't been on his panel like that. I was on somebody's panel and Platinum was on there. And no. And I was talking about like the dudes having babies, and I said they need to introduce a law that if you the fourth baby mama, if a dude has 3 baby mamas, baby mama 4, 5, and 6, if they can prove that you knew you had a kid, you don't need to get child support. Because the reality of the situation is you're splitting that dude's income, and that's hurting the first 3 baby mamas. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking about baby mamas here, 3. So we talk about 4, 5, and 6. How many people is that really going to apply to? But then Platinum was like, well, man, they do it for the kids. Now, Platinum wasn't wrong by saying that, but then I brought up like sterilization. And I said, and here's the thing that people don't understand. This is what people don't get. People don't understand that, obviously vasectomies are legal. If you want them, you can get them. Marcus has one because he did a whole video chronicling, because he got at a young age how hard they made it. This is a black man, and a lot of these white doctors made it hard for him to get it because they were scared that he would change his mind or whatever, and they wanted to, do right by him. Obviously, you can get your tubes tied. This is what a lot of people don't know. You can get your tubes tied, and if you get them tied, you can get them untied. You can get your tubes burnt. So obviously, before you get to, because I want to elaborate on what I said a little bit more. Obviously, before you get to forcing somebody to do something, you can create incentives for people to do that, like real talk. And so so when people get on these ideas and they talk about, oh, you hate and you doing this self-hate. Now, Platinum didn't say none of that, but I'm just saying in this atmosphere, that stuff can happen. You got to understand that nothing is off the table, because shit don't change until it changes. And people talk about babies, like, and then one thing that I told him is I said, like, dude, when they ready to come get your ass, when they done reforming Nashville, they're gonna come and get y'all. Do not, like, y'all need to be smart and look at what they did to Detroit. Look what they did to a lot of parts of New York. What they did to a lot of these areas. Yeah, appreciate the $5 super chat. And Oakland. Look at these cities, LA, that have been gentrified, and actually listen. This is where BGS comes in again, and actually listen, and see the pattern. Do not think you can't get got. And Tennessee only got what? Knoxville. They only got like 3 cities as far as major cities. Knoxville is barely a major city, but they mainly got Memphis and Memphis and Nashville, and they've been working on Nashville, and there's a lot more black people in Nashville than a lot of folks think. But Nashville has been getting. I've seen white folks come to North Carolina. I've seen stories, people I've met of white folks that've come from Nashville because Nashville's gotten expensive. And so once that happens like that, people go. Memphis is gonna be the next city. And when that happens, you know, there all that shit that he was talking about. I mean, it's gonna stop because it's just gonna be all right. We done. That's time to move y'all out of there. And that's how they are, and they're gonna do it. They're getting better and better and more efficient at doing it. Remember what dude said in the Matrix, the architect. He said, "This is the sixth time we messed up Zion. We're becoming more efficient at it." The people that do this, these developers, a lot of these dudes are national dudes. They know how to move the money around. It's easier to do it. The only shit that got slowed down really is because Trump. A lot of war, COVID, a lot of that slowed a lot of that shit down. So it's gonna have to re-rev back up. And I'm not saying this to be like I'm right. I hope it don't happen. I hope it don't happen. I hope Memphis stay black. I'm just saying this is what the pattern is. And don't think people talk about the babies. Understand something. They don't give a fuck about them babies. They doing that because they trying to buy votes. Y'all need to start understanding. Y'all need to understand it. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Nobody gives a fuck about your kids. At the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about a lot of them white kids. It's a dog eat dog world. And America is very economically Darwinistic, and they're getting more and more like that. Until they don't. And black men occupy this kind of space where they can use babies as like human shields. They will do when it's time, when the money runs out, which is something BGS has talked about too, and that's another thing too. When the money runs out and everybody trying to get saved, you just gonna have to. It's gonna be like the Titanic, but you just gonna let motherfuckers sink because there's nothing you can do. And when I say you, think about it. You know, think about it. Like, look at BGS. BGS has his kids, their grandkids. You know, obviously the legacy he's built and stuff like that. Everybody has a family. Like me, I've got my two younger brothers, my mother, you know, because my stepdad, you know, and then I got a couple of family members. Everybody, like hell, even Ramil's got his brother. Everybody is not gonna be able to say random motherfuckers because folks want. It's just like the credit crisis. Folks got to take care of their own economic house. They ain't gonna be able to save you when you wanted to go get a student and then fuck that shit around and not get STEM. Ain't nobody gonna be able to save you when you spend those shit on a whole bunch of credit bullshit. And we all do it. We all do it. I can show you right now, 65-inch TV I just charged on my Target card. It was $400. Fuck you. I'll pay it off next month. So I ain't trying to act like I'm better than nobody. But the reason why I say it's musical chairs is because when that shit gets called, it ain't gonna be nothing nobody can do. This is why BGS says the shit he says, because, and this is why I personally value what he says, is because he allows me to see 2, 3, 4, 5, really 10 years into the future. Really, it's just probably shit got to get probably within 3 years before I actually see the patterns myself. Maybe that's my own intelligence or my lack of experience. But the shit he says is like 10 years in the future. Appreciate the super chat, Keith Foster. Speak these facts to him, Ed. Much appreciated. $1,500 for a studio apartment in downtown Nashville. Yeah, man. That's a studio. People wouldn't think about that with Nashville. People forget that Amazon put a big piece of what they were doing. Their new shit in Nashville has been building for. I remember because when BGS was on, we were talking about that every once in a while when he was doing panels a lot more consistently. Because we were talking about where Amazon's gonna line up. That was when Mike V and stuff was in there. And the Brain Trust. A lot of stuff the Brain Trust was talking about, we get into stuff like this, where these cities are going. And this is where we talk about the STEM and we talk about what you need to be and stuff like that. And even them, that sometimes they went like a little bit off the ledge because they always made it like you got to be a super genius to live in tomorrow's world. And it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be like that to that extent. But it is going to be a reorganization where, you know, if you really ain't really doing some shit, you're going to have to do some moral shit you don't want to do, or it's going to be what it's going to be. Yeah, I appreciate the super chats. $10 so far. Yeah, what's up, Mike V? Yeah, Mike V. Remember we used to talk about shit like that back when that stuff was happening. And it seems like that was a long time ago when Amazon picked who they were gonna pick. So it's important to, and my internet should be fine. I mean, I got my AT&T. I'm finally on that 1 gig, high speed shit. Rather, so my shit actually should be working fine now. Like this place I'm dealing with right now is a 1 story, so it shouldn't be traveling or doing any of that bullshit. All right, we should be good. But and I wanted to do this to get some folks in here. Okay, we got 115 people in here. I mean, my thing about UBI is UBI is irrelevant, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because first of all, this is the thing. Only thing that people need to understand about UBI is if you're somebody that you're trying to be an entrepreneur, is UBI going to completely remove your ability to do that? And the answer is no, because UBI is designed to basically keep money in people's pockets so that you can circle the economy. So when people say, "What about UBI?" I mean, I don't think about that because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like BGS has obviously said UBI isn't ready yet. So if it's not ready yet, it doesn't matter. So, and I'm not trying to say that's not a good question, but a lot of times people say UBI, and at least in this space, UBI is presented as this like boogeyman. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but UBI, people talk about UBI like, what about the rapture? So it's like, oh, well, that ain't gonna happen. I remember when Glenn and Cameron used to say that wasn't gonna happen. Now he's saying that's a high possibility. So again, it's like stuff don't happen until it's there. But you should know. There was a time like 4 years. Like think about it. 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago, everybody thought BGS was a crackpot for even mentioning UBI, and now you got more and more people starting to see that and see what y'all need to understand about that. And this is my thing because real talk. This is why I keep on bringing up BGS and telling you stuff in the future because this is the value that a lot of dudes see in him. That. And I believe him when he says a lot of people ain't supposed to know a lot of information he says. So when you got like, look, man, I got respect for anybody coming in this space, but if you got like random motherfuckers talking about, I mean, you an old nigga. I mean, yes, a lot of these niggas are old niggas, but there's certain people that folks need to just learn how to just shut the fuck up and deal with it. And there's things I don't agree with BGS on everything. I don't agree with anybody on everything, but at the same time, man, turn this shit off. But at the same time, you have to kind of always take a step back and say, what is the value? And even with Mr. Fantastic, he's already stated the value of BGS when it comes to really checking his gynocracy shit and doing the actual work. And then obviously you got people like Tia Son Johnson and Dr. Curry, but like sometimes their stuff could be a little bit highbrow because it's coming from academia, so you need somebody to break that down a little bit more. And that's what Tariq Nasheed does well too, in his own way on other shit. So it's every level's important. And so it's not just motherfuckers. No, motherfuckers are not just fanboying off of BGS. There's an actual tangible value. To be fair, you can see the same thing with Jason Black too. He's pretty good in his own way at projecting shit. Professor Black True. So I mean, I'm just saying, is it really that important over some nigga that got shot? Is it really, oh, I gotta be right saying, well, he was there. I'm like, at this point, it's just motherfuckers just want to be right. And a lot of that shit is that Rumble bullshit. That's really what a lot of that is. And see, everybody always want to make it like it was only Taz. Taz was most of the problem. Sly could be too, but it wasn't just them. It was like an environment that created where, it's kind of like, and I get it, I don't like when I don't get to say the shit I want to say, but I've seen people do that to other people too. I've done it to other people. So it is what it is. That's why we got our own Billy stream. But as far as like a lot of this, oh, well, they're pookie, so they deserve what they get. Understand something. Karma is karma. What you put in is what you get out. We already know that. But this other level of it, it is what it is. Like me, my parents chose to move, and I am where I am, and I'm happy. I am where I am because and it is what it is. And you do you, and then basically you don't invest in that bullshit. And you tell them, if you want this is what it's going to take. I remember when Ulysses used to say, he said, I have no problem investing commerce and business in the hood, but I'm not living around you motherfuckers. I'm just not. And then people would get mad. And I'm like, he basically said he would meet you halfway And then that I remember those debates, and I agree with him. I said yes, and that's what the fucking church was supposed to be for—to take people that didn't want to live in the hood but was willing to invest in the economics in there. As far as businesses and money, that's what that was for. But see, nah, people want to have it all. They want to be like, oh wait, we need to see people. No, we don't. Those bitches need to learn how to start fucking people this quote unquote worth a damn. And when I say worth a damn, I'm not saying street dudes are not worth a damn. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter if it's a street dude or if it's a dude that is quote unquote productive. Because there's negatives to both. For real. And when I say productive, I mean motherfuckers that move in the white folks neighborhood. There's pros and cons on both. But what I'm saying is the problem that black men count is two things. Number one, the dudes that do what the fuck they supposed to do, the street dudes that do take care of their responsibility, they don't get enough respect for that shit, right? Because they're right, they don't. And then you got other dudes that these women want to try to want to come and get after they done got older and they got ran through. Now they trying to get somebody to fucking save them when they're starting to be honest about not wanting to do shit or do what they want to do. And see what happens is black men start arguing with each other about based on the womb shit that these bitches are doing. At the end of the day, fuck who you want to fuck, whether they're street dude, whether they and when I say street dude versus productive dude, let me be very clear here. There are productive street dudes. So let's say street dude, suburban dude, because production can occupy both spaces. So let me be fair when I say that. So street dude, square dude, because I'm more of a square. Street dude, square dude, both can be productive. Street dude, square dude, white dude, whatever. Deal with who you want to deal with. But understand that if you operate outside of the tribe or you're of a group, do not expect motherfuckers to save you. Nobody owes you shit. Nobody owes your kids shit. If it ain't my Dennis Sperling said that shit. He said, I'm never gonna love somebody else's kid like I'm gonna love my kid. And that's real. And motherfuckers need to be real with these chicks. So when these chicks want to come up with some stupid shit, like now I'm about to bring some folks on. What's up, Roger Report? Now I'm about to bring y'all on because now we about to transition. I'm telling y'all right now, do not take this personally. Um, I'm only bringing up um like three people because I really want the conversation to flow. Roger, you good, and the rest of y'all will see. Don't take it personally. I just don't want this thing to go long. I know Roger, I told you you good, and you always let me up. Shout out to the Roger Report. Make sure y'all sub to him, get him going good. But yeah, so now we're going to transition into a couple of talking points. Let's first talk. What I first want to jump on is T.I.'s stepdaughter, Tiny's daughter, whatever her name is. It doesn't matter. The light skinned bitch. That's what her name. The young light skinned. Oh, that's chick. That's what we're gonna call her. She a chick. She straight for the stroke. She a chick that she would have been solidly cute in the call center, right? So she got a rapper. She got a wannabe rapper. He probably doing something. And it's funny how being a rapper is such a do you realize that if you just pretend to be a rapper, you can have some really good social status? I mean, do you realize that you could be an ain't shit motherfucker, but if you say you a rapper and tag rapper by it, then all of a sudden, because you're a musician, that shit gets these hoes pussy moist. Because most of these dudes that these chicks are fucking are not necessarily dudes that's really in the game. Most of them are like they just doing studio time or some shit like that. And you find out a lot of these chicks that they even come from, let's just call it, I won't say music royalty, but they come from definitely people that's deep in the game. Like you're somebody if T.I.'s your stepdad and Tiny, I mean you're somebody. I ain't gonna say you're like the person, but you somebody. And the reality is you sit here dealing with having kids, and then to the point that she said, oh, a baby is a commitment. Shout out to O'Shea. Shout out because a lot of this I'm pulling video celebrity junk. Oh, a baby's not a commitment. A baby's not a commitment, but marriage is. So marriage is an overwhelming commitment, but a baby is cool. That bitch needs to be slapped. That's how fucking stupid she is. Like real talk. And hey, it ain't gotta be a man to do it. Big Mama should slap. If Big Mama should slap, heavy hand slap the shit out of her. Medea. That's what I'm gonna start calling Big Mama, Medea. That's what she needs. Cause that's some dumbass shit to say. Like even that's dumbass shit to think. But to say that shit and put that shit on, so it's like, well, I want the baby, and I understand the bitches they want sperm donors, but that tells you everything, because that tells you everything about this mentality. Now, let me tell you something. Let's take this dude, the dudes that like to think, oh, we could put that D on her. You can't put the D on her and make her want to be a wife. Cause say I just want your sperm, but I don't need you. And I know women that would never say that. But I know women is called dudes sperm donors. I've dealt with chicks that I broke up with them, and then they went with another light skinned nigga and said, I just wanted a sperm donor. Oh, so you want me to be a sperm donor? Nah, you won't take the condom off. Damn right, cause look at you. You a single mom, and you knew you was. And here's the thing about the chick I'm talking about. I made a joke with her, and then she never let it go. Cause I told her, you got the mentality like you a single mother and you ain't got kids. I said, you sure you ain't got kids? Cause you act like one. Like you got a ghost child walking around or something like that, ready to be born. And she always held that against me. 6 months later, she pregnant after we break up.
I was gonna say that's a dead giveaway that she wanted to have a baby. That's a dead giveaway right there.
And the thing is, she didn't look like a hood rat either. She, if you see her, you would never think. Well, even then, but I'm telling you, when I say the single motherhood is a mentality, is not just you can have it without the baby. I mean that. And if you look at, the story I'm talking about with
No,
T.I.'s stepdaughter.
no, I'm not even really familiar with that story. I assumed you meant the one that he took to the gynecologist.
All right, so we're gonna get in the we're gonna get into Megan Thee Stallion and stuff in a second, but basically breakdown. You can see this on O'Shea Celebrity Junk. So basically, it's a light skinned chick, this T.I. stepdaughter, this Tiny's daughter from another dude. She's 18, 19. This is not the daughter, T.I.'s real daughter with the hymen shit. This is not that girl. This is another girl. Is in the family, whatever. And she basically got pregnant. She's pregnant by a dude that's, got tats on his face, whatever. Rapper, look like, petty, all that bullshit, right? Which, whatever. But here's the thing that's significant. What's significant is, this is the crazy part. This dude actually wants to marry her. She's the one that said, I don't want to get married because married is too big of a commitment. But, a baby is not that much of a commitment. These are words out of her mouth. So we can say what we want to say about dude. Because, O'Shea says he's a bum, whatever. Because he says that jokingly. But at the end of the day, this dude wanted to marry her. So say what you want. Dude wants to do the quote unquote right thing. And I don't even think he's marrying her out of because that's what he thinks is the right thing. I think he really likes her. And what a lot of dudes, if they really like the chick, they ain't got no problem dropping that having weak pullout game. Especially if you're dealing with motherfuckers in the South. They big for that. If they really like you, they'll get you pregnant. Because that's a lot. I ain't trying to blanket all dudes in the South, but a lot of them, they'll see that as locking motherfuckers down. That's a mentality. But the point is, she basically said that she's cool with him being a sperm donor, but she don't want to marry him. And what that tells me is she because if she thought he was going somewhere, she'd at least marry him and then leave him later on. But what she did is you could tell something in her got her thinking he ain't going too far, because that's why she ain't even getting married temporarily. So she wants to belong to the streets, but just have a baby.
I was going to say, it might not be his kid. She might already know that. Or she may have a strong suspicion that it's not his kid.
Her name is Zonique.
Okay, well, Zonique.
Yeah, it might be. That sounds like a hood rat. You can call it Afrocentric if you want to, Mike. That's a hood rat's name. That's a name that will come from a chick that's named Tiny. That's a trap name. That sounds like a rapper female that had a rapper name. Would that be a good name if it was a rapper name?
Well, my
Let's
thing
see.
is, regardless of where it come from, if she's gonna have the baby, it's a couple of different things it could be. Either she just simply wants to be a single mother because she's already decided that for herself, or she's not sure that that's dude's baby. Point blank, period. Some women don't want to marry a dude if it's not a dude, because she's not as concerned when it comes to financial situation because
Uh,
she in the family with Ti. She don't have the
well,
financial constraints of most women. Not in her
yeah, and
head.
Ti,
I'm not saying
yeah, and Ti.
what he's gonna do. I'm just saying in her head, she don't have those financial
You
constraints.
gotta, Kobe, you gotta mute that. Yeah, because you got like, yeah. Well, the thing you gotta realize is one thing with these millennials. You're starting to see it with millennials as well, younger millennials. And I mean, quite frankly, you're seeing it with older generations too. They just starting to be a lot more open about the fuckery. So now all this bullshit that people used to say about, well, it's some but not all. It's not everybody. You just blanking, you bashing. I mean, these women are starting to get bolder and bolder and starting to really come out and
Yeah,
say
they're
stuff
brazen,
where 10
Edward.
years ago you never heard that.
Yeah, they're pretty brazen about
So
it.
yeah, shout out to Dexter Moki for the dollar super chat. That's much appreciated. Yeah, so I mean, and I've been hearing the sperm donor thing for a while now, so that's nothing
Yeah,
new. But the
my
thing about
mom,
her actually comparing marriage,
my
yeah, go
mom told
ahead.
my dad that. So I mean, I'm not shocked. So I mean, my mom told my dad that. So I'm not really shocked anymore. Told me, my dad. So I don't know. I mean, so
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, yeah. Well, my thing is this. Women like the, and this is why I'm about to transition into the Meg Thee Stallion, the WAP video, which
um,
women talk about they don't want to be looked at as fuck meat, and then you got dudes talk about pumping and dumping is wrong. Understand something? Pumping and dumping did not create. This is not a chicken and the egg argument. Pumping and dumping did not create the hood rat. The hood dudes basically might said, okay, you want to be a hoe, then I'm gonna treat you like a hoe. And then
yeah,
women treating women like hoes actually makes you more likely get sexual access. So this idea is not a chicken and so a lot of dudes like to present this idea that if you treat a woman like a queen, she'll act like a queen. If you treat her like a wife, she'll act like a wife. No. And I don't know where the fuck you niggas got that shit from. That's
now
not how
like
that works.
now I've been on Instagram all day. I just been seeing a lot of women self-stitching themselves about cheating and everything. Like, can you go to her Instagram page so I can tell you what I'm talking about later on?
Well, I'm on my phone, so I don't,
Oh, okay.
and this isn't going to be that long of a conversation. But let's go ahead and transition into the main topic, which is um the WAP video. So, have you all seen this video?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing shocking. I mean, it's Cardi B. What do people
Yeah, I
expect?
seen it.
And that
Okay,
just shocked me.
I've seen clips of it. I've seen clips of it. I've seen gifs. I'm not gonna sit there for 5 minutes and watch that shit. Um, and here's my thing.
Some girl.
This isn't gonna be me wagging my finger because I don't have a problem with hoes being hoes. Like I really don't. Like I can see. Look, I'm not one of these guys. If a chick is really out there like that, and then I'm gonna see. Oh, I'm gonna look to feel some type of. No, I'm not. I mean, the real situation is my issue is always deception. If you open about how you get down and it's very visible. I'm not saying you gotta put your shit all the way out there, but it's very visible. I'm not gonna judge you because at the end, when I say judge you, this is what I mean. Am I gonna marry a wife up a chick or take a chick seriously like that? No, of course I'm not. But that's not really judging somebody. That just is what it is. But am I gonna sit here and like belittle somebody? If, okay, they ain't say nothing to me or do nothing to me, like personally. Now, obviously, they try to say some shit to me, then yeah, that might be the first thing I go at if I'm gonna be easy. But real talk, and that's assuming they care. Cause a lot of these chicks don't care. So even going at them like that ain't. But if that's just who they are, I'm not gonna sit here and be, oh, that's what the fuck you do. Fuck you. That money don't mean shit. I'm not gonna do that because I'm square, but I ain't square like that. You know. But my thing is again when women start coming because and it ain't just black women to do it. I mean, I saw on Instagram this female talk about men. This one, she was Hispanic, and she wasn't Cardi B, and she was Hispanic, white Hispanic. Talk about men are intimidated by the money I make, and like because she's I guess she's the OnlyFans bitch. Talk about the money I make, and being seen with me. And I said the thing about it is you're not a girlfriend. That's the thing you're not understanding. Just like how you don't want to show yo nigga, you're not a girlfriend. Like, and dudes have a right to put you in that category. I mean, think about it. If you just because you make a certain amount of money doesn't mean you have a certain class, and that's not necessarily ratchet. But the reality is, certain dudes can't be seen with you. They
Like she's
can't. Just like
recreational.
how, well, a lot of
She's
these, and it's not even.
recreational.
And here's the thing: pumping and dumping does not necessarily mean you're just straight disrespecting or ghosting chicks. If a chick knows, like, it's like side chick. If you know what time it is, and here's the thing that kills me about females: females will tell you that they know what time it is when it comes to dealing with certain dudes they want to deal with, that they want to fuck. But when it comes to these dudes that they see that they want to be seen with to elevate their own value, it's like they don't get it. And certain dudes can't be seen with you like that. And it's not a bad thing. That's the same thing with politicians. Politicians ain't out here, like, Trump is the first motherfucker to do that shit. But politicians ain't out here talk like bringing escorts out and shit like that. That's not how that works. And women, and a lot of that is just business. It's not personal. You know why? Like, even if you're dealing with a dude because he tricking on you, you here because of the money. I'm here because of that ass. And we can be cool with that arrangement. Don't try to step out of
Church.
that arrangement. I'm not Paul George. I'm not Paul. I don't marry strippers and I don't get them pregnant. I don't give a fuck how you think. My pullout game ain't weak because I understand what a financially transmitted disease is. Well, you lame. You damn right I'm lame. I'll be lame without dealing with paying child support. You goddamn right. I'm lame as fuck. How about that? You go get, cause niggas anyway. Don't get me started
But
on that. But my point
uh,
is, hold on. I'll let y'all jump in. My point is
uh,
that's not where this conversation is going, at least from me. So this isn't gonna be no, shout out to Male Enlightenment. There's been others that's really broken that shit down from that perspective. What it's gonna be here is more about the hypocrisy that, like, you just had. Well, I'll add this and then I'll let Kobe jump in and Roger jump in. So I'm not just looking at this from this video. I'm also paying attention to Trolls too with Nicki Minaj. So we're gonna lump all three of these chicks in here because these are basically the basically triumvirate authority right now. Triumvirate comes from the Roman triumvirate, with every emperors that tried to share power and realized that shit didn't work. So the triumvirate of thottiness is basically what we're going to talk about right now. So anyway, Kobe, what is your thoughts
the thing
on the
is,
video?
oh, look, the video. I mean, it was just saying horse and I was talking about a brothel, I guess. A brothel. I mean, what's it to say? It's about sexual explicit lyrics in a brothel. Whores in the house, I guess. I mean,
Kobe, I forgot. How old are you again?
22.
Okay. So from
So I
a
mean,
22-year-old perspective, like, what do you see? Because Cardi B's older than you. Megan Thee Stallion's older than you. Like, what
yeah,
do you see this with the millennials? Do you see?
yeah.
How do you see that the women react? First, I'm gonna ask you two questions. Question number one: how do you see the
Hmm.
dudes react to Cardi B? Do they just say, "Okay, that's a bitch with a fat ass, I fuck her, but she's not influencing me," or whatever? What do you see with the dudes? And then we're gonna flip to what do we see with the females when they see some shit like this?
The dudes were like, they were. I heard one dude saying he wouldn't take her seriously. That's all really dudes are saying. Like, dudes, it's mostly women. Like, dudes saying, probably worst case scenario, saying I'm not taking her seriously. That's all dudes are really saying. Is women are really listening to that type of music. I mean,
Yeah, because I mean, with dudes are gonna be like, yeah, this shit make my dick hard, sure.
I get.
But it
I mean,
ain't like
dudes are really
something that I
saying
gotta.
shit.
But I mean, but that's where it comes. That's where it goes. It ain't. But so what do you? So what are some of the females you know? What are they saying about it? Shout out to Melody for the super
I
chat. That is
mean,
much
I
appreciated.
see people making reaction videos and playing it all over the Instagram. I mean, I don't nothing
Oh, you see
much. People
reaction videos. I didn't think
Instagram
about
video.
that.
Instagram people playing it, live streaming, doing OnlyFans. I mean, that's about it. Like, some people saying that women, there's other better songs. It's kind of there's better stuff. It's catchy. That's about it. I mean, dudes don't really care. I mean, the
Also, we're gonna
Latinos.
lump in the Hot Girl Summer from a couple years ago. We're gonna lump that
Oh,
in. That became an
okay.
anthem. What do you think about it, Roger?
I almost done. Or I'll let Roger go. I have something else to say. But I'll say it next.
Oh, Roger popped off. He'll hop back
Uh,
on.
okay. What I want to say is that the thing is about the whole shit is just that it's not even about women being hoe. It's to ask her and delusional about it. You know what I'm saying? Like they play too many games. Like the opener, but the ass and delusional. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the thing you got to understand is women, it's almost like, unfortunately, and this is not just black women, but we're just
Yeah.
talking about black women.
It's
It's
a
like
majority.
the only power they think they have, the power to make somebody's dick hard. And they're mimicking. The thing about what you see women in hip hop doing is they're really mimicking. They're not mimicking femininity. What they're doing is mimicking what they perceive as female, the inverse of like masculinity. Like they're
Yeah.
trying to be men, but just with female body parts. So what
Yeah.
they're doing, oh, this is why they talk about stuff like pull out game and stuff like that. And here's my thing. I don't like, I'm not on this, oh, you a hoe and horrible, but at the same time, you all have to understand, women have to understand that this ain't the 90s where you can remix your shit. The thing that the women in the 90s had is, number one, they had the stepdaddy insurance package that
And
was
there was no
still pretty
Instagram
much going
insurance.
well. Now, yeah, there was an Instagram and all that. Now all your stuff
Like,
can be tracked. So
yeah, they put
even if
everything
dudes
on
are
it.
willing, yeah, and even if dudes are willing to be stepdaddy and shit like that, the quality of those dudes are gonna go low and low, because a lot of those dudes, they know their value, or they got value, aka economics, or bitches. They're not gonna need to do that. Understand something. Dudes that can get bitches, dudes that these chicks want, don't need to be stepdaddy, because they know what's the point of raising your kid when I'm gonna get the pussy anyway. And then the
Yeah.
dudes that's got money, more and more of them dudes are just hopping the fucking fences, saying, if I'm gonna play that game, I'm gonna play that game with a bitch I want. Meaning,
Yeah.
I'm either.
Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
anyway, hold on, Pharaoh, what do you think about what's been said so far?
I've been listening to it, and I just watched the video. Well, kind of early today of that walk video, and my thing is, it's nothing but a whole. It's nothing really new. It's really just confirming everything, especially after what's that that duo name down in Florida, City Girls. They just had a day album released 2 weeks ago. They had a song called Pussy Talk. Did the same thing on that video. So I'm like, my thing is that people like Kobe's age, and I have siblings that's around his age as well. This is literally like they'll be de facto SYSBM. It just makes it a case, and they just gonna just go out and just do their own thing. And my thing about I left a comment in one of the O'Shea's video when he did his commentary on it, and some dude, they really throw this simp word around when they saying when they hit the wall, it's going to be these simps that's going to save them. I'm like, dude, there is not that many simps out here, especially the
Well, first
ones
of all, yeah.
that are viable. I mean, you got. This is where I said
Well, Pharaoh,
you can go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was saying you got two different. The simps that people talking about is these like emotional cuck type dudes that sit over here and they cater to women's feelings, but they're not really doing anything. They're not really taking care of anything. That's the simps that we're talking about. The ones that sit over here that let these bras with their children inside their household. The ones that sit over here and raise the children financially. Like, no, I'm like, we're talking about those type of dudes. Those type of dudes are gone. I'm like, who are these so-called
Yeah, and I mean,
simps
yeah,
that
these,
y'all talking
yeah,
about?
I don't know, I really don't, because the thing is, let's look at the evidence right now. Keisha Cole didn't find that type of person. I mean, look at who
Right.
Keisha Cole with. Look who Monica. Obviously, Monica got with Shannon Brown, but look at who she's been with since Shannon
Mm-hmm.
Brown. Look at, obviously, because we're not going to talk about ones like Vivica and
Mm-hmm.
shit. Let's talk about ones that are more younger. Nicki Minaj. Well, where's Nicki
Mm-hmm.
Minaj's simp? You know, you got what's like dudes. And here's another thing: a lot of these chicks are being real picky about it too. So a lot of these dudes, like, again, Khalees. These women are like these, like, dude. I mean, we're not shit. Like, that's not true. Like, yes, you got, Gabrielle Union, but she got lucky, and we already know what fucking Dwayne Wade is on. Like, some of these, Jada Pinkett,
Mm-hmm.
she got lucky, and remember, Jada Pinkett had all her kids with Will. So I mean, that you could. My point is, a lot of, and keep in mind, Keisha Cole was up there. You know, Monica, like Nicki Minaj is up there. These are not just like lowbrow people that we're talking about here. So again, if you actually look
Right.
at the evidence, and then dudes, and see, these women are in their 30s. Like she's 36, 37. So these women are getting a lot more ruthless. Like women are like Megan Thee Stallion, what's called age, they're getting a lot more ruthless. The younger dudes are a lot more ruthless than that, because why do they need to be? So what you're seeing now is women are starting to sleep younger and younger in order to get goofy dudes. But technically that don't mean shit. You know, they not paying for shit. So at the end of the day, you just
Right.
buying niggas,
Exactly.
and that's your right. Like it ain't even about clowning, but don't sit there and say men are the problem when you. I mean, yo, obvious is the obvious. But my thing that I bring this into is Janelle Monáe. See, so you had trolls, you had Janelle Monáe, and she said her bullshit about like men just need to be canceled because hip hop is so misogynistic. Then this comes, then she was dancing to Snoop Dogg shit. Now this comes out, and these women are silent. See, that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. I don't give a fuck
Exactly.
about what you do,
Exactly.
but understand that these women, when they see other women doing this, they identify with that shit a lot more, because you can't just blame men and say, oh, they're doing this to me. Now it's I want to be a part of it, and this, I identify with this. Most black women will say they like Cardi B, the ones that do, because they identify with her. These will be dark skinned black women. I'm like, what the fuck? And really what it is you want to be her. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
psychotic issue. That's really what it
Mm-hmm.
is. And the thing that this is why I keep on talking about this OnlyFans shit. It's not so much that I'm trying to judge people. It's really about, I'm trying to tell you, this chick's about to be off the fucking chains. Like, I'm seeing women, when you look at some of this shit that goes on Instagram live and shit, and like what some of these chicks will do, because they know they can immediately take the Instagram live off. Like these chicks are doing low key stripper shit, and it ain't no COVID. They were doing it before COVID. COVID just gives
Oh
them more of
yeah.
an excuse to do it.
Oh
And a lot
yeah.
of these chicks got, some of them got low level music careers. I'm not just talking about chicks being thoughts. I'm talking about chicks that got low level music careers, and they use the sexual shit as a way of getting more clout. This is how they think Cardi did it. They were actually following Cardi, and Cardi was low key kind of following, even though she kind of paved her own way because she did it differently than Nicki. These women, like, if I get enough social media clout, I can I get up to a couple of million, like 5 million. I'm gonna get seen where money's gonna come. And some of these women, and that's without the OnlyFans. You start to add it in. That's why you start to see women like Blac Chyna. You start to see women on reality shows start to jump into OnlyFans. The thing is it's a race to the bottom. That's basically, and it's like it doesn't matter anymore. There is no talent, there's no pretense. It's about however you get this money, cash out money. You do what you need to do, and what people are doing, not understanding, is there's long-term consequences to that. And then what's gonna happen is
Yes.
women are gonna already here. They're gonna start talking that sex worker shit, and I'm like, I don't want to hear nothing about no fucking sex worker until y'all make prostitution legal. Because as far as I'm concerned, y'all shouldn't have no rights. Because the reality is, men, there is no legal market for that right now. So anyway, that's a lot of shit I laid the fuck out.
I'm glad that you brought this. I'm glad that you laid that out because one, especially about the prostitute and laying that out. I said this on a comment. Um, it was on Facebook because you know that shit's so gynocratic. But it's this dude. He runs this. So it's like a hardcore feminist page, and he was like, "Well, you can't sit over here and say that dudes they don't like paying for sex. Someone to that talking about gold digging and sex, but then you got sex worker talking about if it's work, then they should be treated sex worker. If they're doing work, they should be treated like workers. It's a whole thing that Jason Black did with the thought audit. So my whole thing was that well, y'all have not legalized prostitution yet, and to be slick honest, do y'all even really y'all not prepared what's going to happen when you move that chain. Like you
Well,
literally do not know when you move that chain. Like that's literally all the resources. You really just sped things up in hyper gear. All resources are gone. All that chasing, dinner dates, all that other shit is just completely gone.
yeah, hold on one
So
second. Do not
mhm.
delete unless these people are saying some crazy off the wall shit. Do not just start deleting people to be deleting them, and that includes the women. And I mean, they gotta say some really off the wall shit. Y'all, so let these people talk. Like I don't like when y'all do it because sometimes y'all are taking these people if they saying some crazy shit, unless it's like really really off the wall, like abort male babies or something like that. Don't delete it because I want to be able to respond to some of this stuff. So you all are taking some of that stuff away from me when y'all do it. So I'm pretty free flow here, as long as y'all not saying some insane shit. So y'all need to stop doing that. So I'm letting y'all know right now. But yeah, but my thing is the game. Like for real, the game is the game. This is like why I like Ramil's channel because I think Ramil could probably do one of the best I think streams about it because at the end of the day he can break it down from a kind of the other side because you know some of the industries he dabbles into. And my thing is I've seen the gifs. Like you gotta
Hmm.
remember this is some of the type of stuff that made Tumblr go round. Like this is some of the you people will take a video like that they'll break it down in the gifs. Like take trolls. Trolls, Google sucked that up into like gifs of her shaking her titties and all of that because and think about it.
Hmm.
Nicki Minaj, she did that shit, but she never did it like that. She always tried to low key have a line she wouldn't cross. And so now she just went all the way there because it's her career, and that's what they got her doing. And folks, and here's the thing: shout out to Sub Zero 3639. He tried to play the Jew angle, and I understand that, but at the same time, man, we got to start. Black people got to start taking accountability too. Like at the end of the day, you know this slutty shit. My thing is, don't fucking tell me about pumping and dumping these, and then you all try to deny that this shit. They like this shit. If you actually see the trajectory that Cardi B had, and actually watch how she rose, women are obsessed with this. Is this all women? No, but another thing y'all got to understand is even the women that are not in the all category, they are gravitationally pulled towards this shit because women operate in the hive. So a lot of your professional women, you're like 92 climbers that BGS broke down, they are attracted to this ratchetry and they're connected to the legit 92s. So it's always this sophisticated, ratchet, clatchet bullshit. And a lot of the black women that absolutely reject this shit, they only reject this shit because they probably got a white daddy like Zaddy around that is gonna throw them out of white land if they really play with it. So a chick like a Susan Rice or something like that, older, like they legit. And don't get me started. We ain't gonna talk about like the fact that like they got 3 black women that's potential. Like Kamala Harris legit might be a vice presidential candidate, or Susan Rice. It is a high. It's more than a 50% chance that it's gonna be one of those two. That's so you already know what time it is. So the thing about it is, the thing that I watch is that they are so subject. They are so subjected to like what goes on in this society. Shout out to Dollar Washer, man. Appreciate that. It's they are so subjected to like the society tells them anything via these like for these horsemen of whatever propaganda they want to give them. Black women absorb it so intensely. It's really kind of it's really alarming because they're really hypnotized by shit like this, and especially the young and the younger girl. Oh man, because y'all, I'm going here because I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And fuck any of y'all that wanna oh Peta, oh my god, I can't have that. Nigga, fuck the 20, 25, 26 year olds. What about the 12, 13, 14 year olds? What about them seeing this? Because here's the thing a lot of y'all don't understand. Most of the somebody said that it took 40 million views in 2 days. Y'all really think all those views are driven by adults? You see, the reason why people don't pay attention to the under 18 social media or internet market because they ain't got no money to buy shit for the most part. So the advertising dollars, so usually you spend advertising dollars on getting them ready and prepped to buy shit later on. But a lot of your direct sales folks, they ain't got nothing to buy
Exactly.
because they ain't got no money. So, but if you deal with bigger brands or things like music and stuff, they can just put the content out and it's pretty much free. And they're building up like audiences. So by the time they get 18, they can buy stuff. So if people don't understand, you got 11, 12. But y'all saw some of the shit on Facebook when you see some of these little kids twerking and shit. So you start to see these people come into high school, later in middle school. They're coming into puberty. You already know what the fuck. It's already rumored because my youngest brother is 20, is about to be, he's 23. I knew when I was like right out of high school, just dropping out of college and shit, what he was dealing with, because he's 10 years younger than me. I knew what my middle brother was dealing with, who's 5, and
Hmm.
so I knew what these chicks were on because I've seen them through him, and that was 10
Right.
years ago. That's like five. So I already know what it is, and I knew where it was going in. And now that shit is completely slid off the rails. And remember, I'm in North Carolina. We're not talking about like in these cities like Atlanta where everybody know each other. When you talk about social media type of stuff, when you talk about
Mm-hmm.
high schools, when you
Mm-hmm.
talk about how teenagers are, see, people don't want to talk about that because they get scared. But my thing is, I'm just saying we know that 15 and 16-year-old dudes and 17-year-old dudes are fucking these motherfuckers because they not 18 yet. And you know how the
Right.
game, not 12, you talk about like 14, 15, 16. You know how the game works. And you know how it works. When we were in high school, you had motherfuckers that were 21, 22 that these chicks would actually go out to see, getting a fake credit card, going to the hotel, getting a not fake credit card, fake license. Ain't nobody coming to them. They going there because they want to be where the shit's at. That's 10, 15 years ago. We talk
Mm-hmm.
about now where they got social media where the shit is in their face all the time. All of the clubs, all of it is. And then you understand how these motherfuckers be developing earlier because you know that's out there too. It's about these women developing, black women being treated like women. And you can't tell them shit. They talk about I would now these chicks I want some I want to belong to the streets. And you know if you seeing people say that out loud, you know it's a lot more people under the surface is really low key thinking that. And this is why Ramil say the shit what he say about the daughter and shit like that because these chicks are rebellious. And here's the thing that's
Mm-hmm.
scary. What's scary is if you got a hood rat mama, she's going to encourage that because that's a part of her empowerment. Fuck that nigga. I say it's okay. Now is all black women doing this? No. I know, but it don't take a lot. But because all it takes is one friend that's on some hoe shit to corrupt a lot of these other motherfuckers. That's what people don't understand. You know, because
Mm-hmm.
that's why you see older women like in their 40s. You're seeing women that's 40, 45 trying to relive, trying to re-get a chance because it's just so fun to do that it's when you really look at it for what it is, it's on some matrix shit where it's insane. Anyway, NBA fan, what are your thoughts?
Shout out to
I know I just
everybody
switched
on.
it up on you real quick.
Yeah. So can I jump in for like just the whole topic about the video and everything like that?
Yeah. Give your thoughts. You got like 2-3 minutes if you need it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be pretty quick. So basically, my thoughts are, yeah, like the music and media, it's skewing the society more sexual. But I think another thing that we could take from it is that in generally male-dominated industries of entertainment, women don't support each other, and you could go to a myriad of reasons why, like it just being a worse product. If you look at like the NBA versus WNBA as well, and I think just for women to be successful in those generally male dominated markets, you have to sexualize yourself because they're not putting out as good a product as men, and that's really all I have to say on that.
That's an interesting point. Like one thing about the WNBA that a lot of people don't talk about is they don't talk about the predatoriness of the WNBA when it comes to homo when it comes to LGBT folks versus heterosexual folks. If you're a female and you're traditional, even a little bit, I mean, obviously you have modern traditional, but you're had you know there's articles about that. Don't listen to me. Just Google the articles and they'll come up and they talk about stuff like that. They just keep that shit on the hush hush because obviously that'll fuck up the entire brand. But these are like big stars, not just small people that flamed out in NBA. Some of them they retire early because of shit like that. So you're absolutely right. And the thing about it is with me, because here's the thing, you know, I am liberal on that type of stuff when it comes to sexual, but at the same time, well, heterosexual sexuality. But I really don't give a fuck about LGBT shit. It's just stay over there. Girl, I don't really give a shit about dudes. Y'all just stay over there. And that's fine. That's how I feel about it. But
Right. And just as a product,
my
like
thing,
just go ahead.
well, but yeah, but at the same time, I don't want to see bitches just hoeing it out everywhere either. You know what I'm saying? Like I have
Mm,
people would say, "Oh, well, you're homophobic." Okay, I don't like the slut walk. So what does that mean? I don't like that shit. That shit is in the same. As far as I put that shit in the same category as gay pride parade. Same shit. So what? Because it's same thing. I mean, for the most part. So it's not like people act like, oh, if I see a bitch randomly twerking, then I'm gonna just be perfectly okay with it. If they twerking at a grocery store, some shit like that. But if I see some shit, I just get, it's not. It's not. Come on, man. And
Yeah,
that's
that's
what folks
fine.
try to.
That's fine just seeing it out in regular life. But I mean, just from like a business aspect, you have like the WNBA has to compete with the NBA for sales, and they're going to lose. So as currently constructed, because it's a worse quality. Same with like female rap, it's not as good. So I
And the
mean,
WNBA hasn't lasted as long. The WNBA, first of all, no, you're right, but the WNBA hasn't been around as long. And truth be told, if they really wanted to put the WNBA in a position to win, what they want is they want to say, okay, we're gonna do it the same as dudes, and basically it's gonna win on that merit. That's not true because it's just come on, man. Because I mean, even when you look at like human history, ain't nobody want to see these bitches do that shit. Like sport, never been
right?
popular. Now
Yeah.
you have certain things like this human history. Pick a race, pick a whatever. Even in Africa, which is a little bit more matriarchal and let the women do more stuff. That's not what they looking for, and that just is what it is. Now, if you want to make a product, there's a way to make a product. But the problem is, and this is what kills me. This is what kills me. I'm glad you brought that up. Because if I say you need to get like, if you want to make me watch basketball with bitches play, then I'm good. Then you better get the Dylan, the Gonzalez sisters. I forget what this white bitch with a
Oh
fat ass
yeah,
can
yeah,
play
yeah, yeah.
basketball. It's this white chick out here that with a fat ass, but she can
Jenna
actually
Bundy,
play basketball. One of the,
Jenna
I don't
Bundy, I
know
think.
her by name, but
Yeah.
but she can actually legit play, at
Mhm.
least play
So,
like to do it on social media. I don't know if she's like, but my point is, you're gonna have to accept the fact that if you want male eyeballs on here and male eyeballs actually valid. See, here's the thing: just like how in the club they get the women, because if you get the women at the club or at a restaurant. That's how the advertising works. Then the dudes will come either because the dudes got to take the women as far as there's a restaurant, or and spend the money, or the dudes are gonna come to the club where the bad chicks are, right? That's how that works. It's the same. It's kind of the same thing with sports. It's the opposite. With sports, if dudes have to validate a sport. Now you have some exceptions to this rule, but if you really want to bring money into the sport, then dudes got to be well invested in. If dudes are invested in, the women are gonna want to come. You saw that with football. Football actually fell into that. They were surprised at how many people really like football, and it's not because that women like football. It's that women, number one, they're sexually attracted to the dudes, which makes sense. But at the same time, dudes say the dudes are validating the status because these are dudes that other dudes look not so much look up to, but we respect their physicality, what it took to get their shit like that. Same thing with basketball, and that's actually a key component that people don't want to understand. So what you try to do, so what you want to do is you want to create a female version of that just to have it. Well, my thing is, like I said, you get the Gonzalez sisters, you get some good. They've got some good looking women. They play basketball. They legit got in there. I forget like not the fuck. I forget some of their names. Skylar. You got some women like
Tyler
that.
Diggins,
You
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that
Famous,
ain't
yeah.
mo. Those are exceptions. And here's the thing. Obviously, you're not gonna have all of them like that, but you're gonna have to promote them because they're gonna
Yeah.
be the ones that
Hey,
bring
Edward. Oh,
in
go ahead.
the other people. But then these women say, oh well, we can't do that. Okay, well then you bitches do this though
Yeah, and like,
with the trolls, cardi, trolls, and then this. Go ahead.
and what were
Yeah,
you
but
saying
no.
about
Oh,
like? Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, you can go.
No, I want you to go ahead because I have something to say after. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So I was just wondering because, hey, you said something about like Nicki Minaj used to like hold back in videos or something like that at a certain point in her career.
I mean, Nicki Minaj wasn't doing no titties with the stickers on her nipples, shit. I mean, the next thing you're gonna start to see is you're gonna start to see the move. I've seen women pull this move, and I do personally like this move. Is um, when women, they let like a piece of their nipple show out in they dress. It's like the
Mhm.
outer layer of it, but you don't see the
Oh yeah,
whole
she's
thing.
been there before.
Yeah, you're gonna start to see that more and more. But my thing
I
is,
saw
but with
she
the
did
thing
on
when
like
you
Chris
just saw
Hilton.
her shirtless with just tape, because you gotta remember, at her level, usually what Nicki Minaj would do is she would do the bikini, and like a bikini. If you notice with her, she don't be wearing like just straight micro bikini. She'll wear like a traditional bikini, but she'll loosen it up and let just the top of the ass crack show or some shit
Yeah,
like that.
I
I've been
Or
seeing
when
it
you
all
looked
through
at
the whole career.
I,
the bump video where she did the baby got back video, like if you notice she does, but she does it in more like sultry moods and stuff. Now I don't look at music videos like that, but this is stuff that I've seen versus her just being topless where it's just straight up. That was never her MO, not like that, because at the end of the day she was still the head of that. She was the main woman, so they still had to maintain a certain type of brand, because even white folks would be like, no, that's a little bit too much. That's poor, because you get the conservatives coming at you like that, because then it's a black chick doing that. So
a lot of
now
your
when she
folks,
did all of that, go ahead.
a lot of your folks from the islands, that's who they really got it from, man. Because when I start going out to the clubs down here in Florida, a lot of your Trinidadians, your Jamaicans, they start going around with that tape on their tit nip, and pretty much now what they're doing now, and it done branched out, is they'll come through with this sheer look through with no fucking bra or no tip nip, just showing straight titties with that
Well, yeah,
fucking
absolutely.
yeah, see through, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, in the clubs, but see, there's difference in the clubs, and then you putting that on like national television, that you know is
Oh,
going to be
right, right.
broadcast in social media, and even social media like that, because now you got other groups that may fuck with you and shit like that. So it's a difference between like local. No, I hear what you're saying, and that is probably what you got it from. And even if you see a lot of these videos like in the islands and stuff, that's different, because they can do. They control a lot of their FCC stuff down there too. But when you bring that stuff, that's why you had the BET uncut and stuff like that. That's basically what most of this shit is. And my thing is,
Right.
women want to just pawn it off as, oh, well, you all are slut shaming this. No, I'm not. But don't get mad when people like Ramil talk about pump and dump, because Ramil is only speaking to what dudes are already doing, and they pump and dump you, and then they don't, and you upset when but at the end of the day, that's how you presented yours. That's who you were. You don't like, and that's the thing. You can't have
Exactly.
it both ways.
Not always.
Like you be a fucking fool. And the thing is, dudes are gonna fuck you. It ain't, dudes are not like, oh my god. And I remember dudes used to be all up, like would act like they drink Nicki Minaj's piss. That's the way these niggas were acting. But at the end of the day, they're like, oh fuck. But like dudes are not worshiping, just like you got dudes that simp, like the simp and the OnlyFans shit. Look, I get that, because dudes are blowing, like people forget. You don't understand how much money people used to blow during the Super Bowl, during the NBA All-Star game. So when people talk about
Right.
OnlyFans, it's like like it's just digital. That's the only thing, and I understand why it is what it is, but understand that like that ain't like dudes has got money and shit like that, like that clout. Just like, here's the thing, okay, these chicks, let's say a chick making like $10,000, $15,000 a year, and only, first of all, they gonna get around and start taxing that shit sooner or later too. Like they're gonna start getting that
Hmm.
shit because they need the money. That's what I'm saying. They legalize prostitution, they gonna start getting that money out. They're gonna take the shit out of that. So a lot of these,
Oh
but
yeah.
whatever.
Oh
But
yeah.
but at the same time, what these women don't know is that don't buy you a dude. Yeah, now here's the thing. At best, you'll get, okay, if you want to do, oh, I want a thug dude with tats to just make my pussy wet, blah blah. Okay, fine. You can get that dude, but understand what that dude is. That dude is not gonna be a dude that's gonna be able to take care of you, do all that, and you may not need that, and that's perfectly fine. But what happens is you have these females that they think because they get money that's like the same as social status, and it's not. So they get upset, and that's why
The
you see the
reason why,
Tommy Lauren stuff. Because remember, you heard Tommy Lauren talk about these Tatianas and stuff. So and that was before this video dropped.
and the reason why it doesn't have the
Go
same
ahead.
effect, because women don't spend money on men. That's the thing. Like, women are here saving and spending your money, so they're not spending money on the men. So that's why it doesn't have the same effect,
Yeah, the
Well,
women's
the thing
already
about
spending money
Skylar,
on
the
women,
reason why
though.
Skylar, hold on, the reason why Skylar did what she did is because a lot of these chicks are hating on dudes because dudes are fucking. It's the same thing. Skylar kind of low key did the same thing that Tommy Lauren did. They hate on these
Who's
dudes
Skylar?
because they're angry.
Tyler
Skylar
Diggins.
Diggins, because she's
Oh,
bitching
never
about
heard of
the
him.
WNBA. She's bitching about WNBA women not getting paid.
That's
They
a
don't get
tax
paid because they
write-off.
don't bring in the money.
They're
But
probably
whatever.
leaving it up because
They
of the tax write-off. The tax
they
write-off.
get they they get mad. They get mad because they see dudes in their eyes fucking with lower accomplished women. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you accomplish. What dudes want is what dudes want. Just like what these chicks want is what these chicks want. So this is why you hear, even think about it. Tommy Lauren talk about Tatianas. That was a shot at a lot of these Latin chicks. A lot that's willing to just straight slut it up. And a lot of these black chicks that slut it up. And that these white dudes low key are running through behind the scenes. Just fucking with her value. That was a very interesting work. Think about it, she ain't talking about no white bitch just on some Tatiana shit. When white women are talking about white bitches, they call them sluts. There's words for white women that do that shit, and Tatiana is not one. And she knew what she was doing when she said that. And this ain't nobody really done backlashed her on that. But at the end of the day, I mean, y'all want to play this game. Women are fucking it up for themselves, and a lot of times you got dudes that come into our space and come into space talking about what we need to do for a community. It's like when you hear women talk about they belong to the streets and this and that, I'm like, what the fuck can you do with that? You can't do shit with that.
Yeah,
There's nothing that you can do that's gonna turn a bitch from being like that. It's like fuck it. It's like when they turn into vampires. There's no cure for that shit. So you just deal with it as it is. And if the chick is straight for the stroke, if you a nigga that you willing to spend some money to hit it, me personally, I tell dudes, if you gonna spend money, you might as well take your ass overseas. This is gonna be a better deal anyway. But because these chicks, you gotta remember, chicks in the United States when they're stripping and stuff, I've never bought a bitch in a strip club because I don't even go to strip clubs like that. But these chicks be wanting like a G. Like I've seen it in the Uber car, like especially these white bitches, they be wanting the G like for 2 nights, and so they and that's minimum. Especially like so it's like, nigga, you might as well take your ass, you might as well travel if you're gonna do that. And a lot of these white lawyers and stuff, remember I did 10,000 Uber rides, so I can tell you some stories. Like these motherfuckers, like, so at the end of the day, even when it comes to baller dudes, what most ballers do is they drag these women in based on a lifestyle that they're living, but they're not directly just paying these women because it be too much. Because these women, the entitlement is just off the chains a lot of times.
I'm so glad you said that because my homeboy fucks with he got a dude that's a doctor. He's from Shreveport, Louisiana. It's funny that you say Louisiana. And he was telling me that this dude done smashed like almost every porn star in the game. And these are not the famous ones now, but the ones that fell off, like your Pinkies, your Cherokee ass. So I was just curious. I was like, well, wait a second. How much was he paying? Because you telling me that he also be smashing weather girls and paying them as well. He said, man, to be honest, he said he don't even care about the money, man. He be giving these bras $500, $600, $700. I'm like, bro, you lost your mind. I said, I do not even care. I said, hey, this is how my ideology works. And I told him, this is what you tell him. I'm like, if any woman in her life has smashed a dude for free, that woman would accept less. I'm going to say that again. If the woman was willing to sleep with a dude for free, she done already accepted less. Why would you sit over here? Go ahead.
Well, no, I hear what you're saying, but here's my thing with that. And I would have kind of told him something similar, but I said the issue is not that. The issue is dudes will like, it is overvaluing, but it's like, nigga, just because you see like Mona Divine or one of these bitches and when you were jacking off whatever the fuck you was doing, stop like over investing in these chicks. This is saying that's no different than what Russell Wilson did. Russell Wilson could have got a chick from overseas and got, and that's not always a guarantee. Shout out to Kevin Garnett. He got a Dominican chick. Look at what happened to him. But my thing is, you will like, and that's really why the OnlyFans shit works so well, is because dudes are basically identifying with these women personally, because this is not like a porn star. This is just somebody you seeing and you don't have a connection. This is somebody you can get in their DMs or they might respond. Or not only that, it's the videos are like
they charge
amateurish.
for the messages. You know that, right? You gotta pay to message them.
Well, yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, yeah, but the videos are amateur.
Oh wow, really? You gotta pay to message them?
Not necessarily. Well, it depends on what platform. But my point is, the amateur. Hold on. There's a couple of things to go with that. It's not necessarily to send a message. They can sell things through those messages. So
like
what they'll
$50
do,
or $60, some.
Yeah, so what they'll do is because I know somebody that deals with that from a promotional standpoint with the model of it. What they'll do is they can pump. It's kind of like a sales funnel. They can get you in on their subscription and then turn
for
around and sell a
free.
video, sell a picture. Yeah, or they'll charge you for that. It just depends. So it's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that goes with that. My point is,
Mm-hmm.
dudes get into the outrage of it and not actually understanding the how and the why. Dudes are more. It's just like with the reason why people pay strippers because you've seen them up front. Well, you can create that digitally. It may not be as strong, but it can be there. So his issue, your friend's issue, is he's got this psychological imprint on his bitch that used to be on his wall when he was a certain amount of time, and then he is giving this chick status based on, oh man, if I fuck, it doesn't matter what she looks like. It's the status that he's imprinted by her. And it's like, dudes got to take a step back because I promise you, when you go overseas, then you be like, then you get rid of all of that. Oh my God, these bitches are bad because you see bitches that are bad. You
Oh,
fuck
that
bitches that are
reminds
bad.
me. That reminds me. Remember Jasmine Cashmere? She got married. Is she a pastor?
Yeah, and that's what black men. This is
Yeah.
another reason why black men need to go overseas because when
Do
black
it.
men be like, oh, but you just tricking, but the reality is it's better to do that over there and get that shit out of your system and then come over
Do
here with a different mind than to sit here and be like, oh, like feeling thoughts in your head when it comes to a lot of these chicks, these
Yeah, it
old
boosts
school
your
chicks.
confidence because
This
they
is
and out
what
here
Well, yeah.
they break themselves, they break you down out here. They break their self esteem
well,
down.
I don't even care about their confidence. My thing is like, if dudes want to do that, that's on them. But like, that's just dumb. Like, and it's
I
not
mean, men's
necessarily because you're
confidence.
paying.
Like,
It's because, well, yeah, you're right. It's because, yeah, and then when you actually ask them like, what was you thinking doing that, and not even on some judging shit. The shit they tell you is like, yeah, man, well, I just had to. Why did you have to? What is it about how she looks now? It's like you imprint it, and then dudes never think about that because they've never been told about that. So we're
it's
gonna
a
wrap this up in
fantasy.
about
So
It's a
15 more
fantasy.
Right.
minutes.
yeah, I gotta
It's a
go.
fantasy. That's all. It's a fantasy
Yeah.
fulfillment. This isn't like that. Not much.
So basically,
Well, and and it's fun, and it's funny because go ahead, NBA man.
yeah. So I was just gonna comment on what you said about just like what can we do with like over sexualized women for the black community in terms of like restoring it. So like if those women became like a sexual labor class, right? We could use those women as a proxy to the marriage bound women to demand submission. If not, that labor class makes them replaceable sexually, right?
I mean, yeah, but the like one thing a lot of people don't understand too about that is they don't like it, they're not legally required to fuck you. Like just not like here's the thing. People can't say, okay, let's say somebody charges like $1,500. Let's say that, even though it's ridiculous. They can't say I got $1,500, you're legally required to fuck me. They can say no. And you'll see that too. I've seen that overseas, and a lot of people don't understand that. So, and also if you ever create a sexual labor class like that, these women, honestly, it's gonna be dangerous dealing with these females because like take STDs off the table. These women are liable to get you robbed. These women are liable to set you up. When they start like diesel women, when they cross that bridge to that extent, because you got to remember, a lot of these chicks, if they can't, you got to remember, most of these chicks are going to try to go online. And once the online stuff drizzles out or it gets too competitive, which that's a big if because people can draw money globally. You know, people forget that. But a lot of these women are going to be into some criminal shit. I mean, think of Cardi B and what Cardi B said she used to do. So again, dudes will be letting their guard down and shit like that. So I mean, and then you're dealing with women. Remember, classes in the black community is fluid. So you got a lot of these chicks are part-time prostitutes, or they're like prostitutes
Yes.
maybe 10% of the time, and you
They're
never know
part
who they are
time.
because maybe they're only doing that with certain people. So there's a lot of
They're
things
not
that
a
black
full
people
time
like
hoe.
to.
Yeah. I was just going under the assumption because you were talking about legalizing prostitution. So I was talking about
No,
under
no,
the assumption.
absolutely not. As far as legalizing, I mean, I don't know where that. I mean, my thing is, I'd rather folks legalize it. If nothing else, it protects men from at least being legally liable. Because if you fucking the chick and you got a contract with it, then all that Me Too shit. But it's crazy because right
But
now it's
also,
just yeah.
oh, go ahead. But
Well,
with
and
the
also
false rape
what's in it?
allegations, that might go up.
You
Do some
can't not
false rape.
Well,
under
and then also
prostitution, though.
well
No, not legal prostitution. And Zero spoke about this too. It also checks hypergamy, and
Yeah,
it
basically
dials a
that's
lot.
what I think.
It dials some things back because what you do is now you make the woman replaceable. And he
That's
was
right.
right
That's
when you
right.
said
Yeah.
that.
That's what, and we'll see. No, I'm not just necessarily disagreeing with that. But I don't. And here's the thing: I don't think they'll ever, for that reason, they'll never make prostitution. The Tommy Lauren types of the world will never allow prostitution to be legal. And the thing about it is, I think a lot of liberal
Mm.
women that are liberal, but that's the one thing a lot of them will agree on because they're never going to do that. Like the white women, it's going to take white women doing that. White women are not going to go for that because they
There's a lot
know.
of moderate. There's a lot of moderate white women though. There's not that many Tommy Laurens left though,
It's
No, no, no,
dying
no. You
out.
don't have to. No,
in the
no, no, no.
population.
You don't have to be a Tommy Lauren. Even the liberal versions of Tommy Lauren, like I don't mean they're liberal conservatives. I mean they're like good looking white women, but on the other side, they're gonna see why that they shouldn't do that either. Like
Yeah.
so, and it's gonna take the white women. The white women going to what they're gonna. This is what they're gonna do. They're gonna compromise with the other females and decriminalize prostitution, and then that'll leave it open to still fuck with dudes. But they can kind of control up and down depending on the area how much the dude they enforce it on the dudes. But that's a way of
Wait,
compromising with the women and getting the and you already see that in Florida where they're looking at decriminalize, meaning like we're not gonna lock you bitches up if you do that at your own risk. That's on you, but we're not going to legalize it. And only of now, obviously, people want that government money, but at the same time, the women are going to fight that because they know what Zero and you just said, so they're going to fight that. It doesn't
mm,
matter. And the government and a lot of these simps, these white dudes or simps that are in the government, they're not going to override them. What they're going to do is they're just going to make other people pay to get the money. This is where they'll just dial up the weed or some shit because that
Yeah.
hasn't been tapped out yet. So
So
because you got to
under
think prostitution, yeah.
yeah, so
Well,
under the guise or like a macrocosmic situation where prostitution is legalized and they try to tax it, do you think prostitution would become like government funded and protected like they buy brothels and protect women and
and
stuff like that?
also,
No,
since
not in
women are losing their
America.
jobs too.
No.
Maybe
If
No,
if
they'll
they
it's
keep it
legalize
on.
it?
They'll
feminism.
keep it. It's gonna be a gray market. Here's the thing, they don't have to make it like that in order to for women to be able to do it because you got to think about it. Now you can like even with the tax money, you can get them to do that shit online and be able to tax a lot of those transactions. So you encourage them to do shit through websites, which is what they're already doing, which is the virtual shit. That way you don't got to worry about human to human contact, and a lot of these people can get the money. So there's ways around all of that. But I'm telling you, these women are not gonna be cool. And you gotta remember, these dudes gonna have to override these women. And they're not gonna override these women. And these white women are not gonna let them do that because they understand that that's one of their greatest powers is that sexual marketplace value. And you effectively kill that. So we could talk
Well,
about all day, but
if
anyway,
they
let's let everybody
if
get
they,
their final thoughts because I'm
uh,
about to end this. No, I have your thought though, but yeah, and then we'll start
oh
final
no,
thoughts.
I was just saying, well, if do because of the job loss and it's going to get worse, I was just saying they are probably in BGS. He's alluded to it as well. They have to do something. I mean, you know,
Well, I mean, some of that stuff
that's
we'll
why
just
I
have
was
to
saying
cross
some.
when we get there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anything's possible.
Hey, we'll be here to cover the news though when it does, man. Because everything is changing before our eyes very fast. I mean, we told people that 2020 it was going to be interesting, but I didn't think it was going to be this interesting. I'm like, damn. So
Yeah, because I mean, and what you're starting to see is folks are just starting to be more open about how they get down, and because they're more open about how they get down, is removing a lot of the stuff that folks used to say as a justification like, oh, well, dudes need to do this and dudes need to do that because really, it's not some, it's not all. Now everything's out there.
and
So
then and then it's on record too. I'm like, and and I'm always thinking, I'm like, man, I'm like, I wonder in 10, 15 years, are they gonna look back and see what type of shit they did, man? And it's just women in general.
Yeah,
And
they doing
I
it
just,
now. They do it with like feminism 2.0 is looking and seeing where they fucked up. BGS talked about that. So they already know.
yeah,
They already know. So anyway, final thoughts. Want to go
uh,
first?
I'll go first. Appreciate it, Edward, for letting me on, man. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the chat room. And yeah, this whole, I mean, the thought culture. We pretty much, people saying it's here. I'm just saying we always been in it since the social media age. It's just like everything is just overt now, man. It's out in the open, so you can't unsee it because it's in your face. So dudes, like shout out to Ramil, dudes are going to make the adjustment and they're going to treat you as is. It is what it is, you know. SYSBM, I'm out. Appreciate y'all.
Next, let's do NBA fan.
Hello.
Yeah,
Oh, Edward. Oh, go ahead.
yeah. So basically, my closing thoughts would be like, I see how this like over sexualized situation could it's bad when trying to organize and effectively run a community. But personally, I think that I'll thrive in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I meet the requirements on different fronts. So I mean, I'm personally fine with it, but there are problems with the community. Probably as a whole can't survive it. It keeps trending how it's trending.
Yeah, I'm waiting
Edward.
for what's
Oh,
the rock bottom's gonna be. Yeah, go ahead, Kobe.
do you have an
Thanks for putting me on the
Instagram?
panel.
Do you ever be on Instagram ever?
Yeah, I gotta post.
If
I
I
gotta
send you
I gotta
stuff,
put my Instagram. But
okay.
yeah,
If I send you stuff, will you look at it or?
well, I mean, it
But
depends on what you send me because people send me a lot of shit, man.
red pill content, pretty much stuff to talk about.
Well, I mean, my Instagram is gonna be more geared towards is like a motivational thing. It's not
Oh,
really.
okay.
I really don't. That's what I let the Facebook be
Oh, cause I never.
because really, yeah, because
Cause
a
I was
lot of
gonna
that
send
shit.
you. Oh,
Yeah, because a lot of that shit, when it comes to red pill content, I try to compartmentalize it. I don't
oh, I
try to,
see.
because, yeah, so anyway, you got any
It kind of
final
drives you
thoughts?
insane. Drive you a little
Well,
bit
no,
insane.
not that. Not that. I mean, it's not that. I just compartmentalize it.
You know, home away from home.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. I've got this YouTube channel and I've
Mm-hmm.
got my Facebook. So I don't need
Okay.
every last social media account I have to be dedicated to red pill content because some of my shit is designed to grow,
Okay, it's
and I
fine
got
then.
other stuff that I do other than this. But yeah.
Cause there's certain stuff I see on there. That's where I get some of the red pill content. Usually, that's what I want to send it to you. Like some of the stuff I see on there.
Yeah, that's fine. So anyway, so I'll do this. So as far as my final thoughts, appreciate all y'all that did super chats.
I'm just crazy.
Yeah, appreciate y'all that came in with the super chats. It's much appreciated. I think Kevin's on. Like I said, man, it's interesting seeing this stuff. A lot of times we take our little checkpoints to see, okay, we're here now. That's what I want this to be. Me personally, when it comes to what they're doing, you know, it's it's not that I got all this fake outrage, but it just kills me when I see things on when I see things on like Facebook and shit like that. How women there was literally a female that she wanted to talk about. She said, "Well, well, you know, you all Nick, you all need to stop bashing, and if women want to learn from Nicki Minaj and not Nicki Minaj, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion about sexuality, then let them learn." And I said, okay, so first question, what are they learning about sexuality? The dude that Cardi B's with cheats on her all the time. Megan Thee Stallion just got shot. So I mean, what are they actually learning? I mean, like real talk, like what are they learning? Like from a sex education standpoint, or even how to get your man to stick with you or create really good outcomes because your sex game's tight. What the fuck are you? What are you learning? Get a buy a ass. You gotta be light skinned, lighten your skin. You gotta over sexualize yourself all the fucking time. And the reality is, and the thing about my shit like this is, I know black women that don't operate this way, but the thing about it is, silence is consent. Nobody's gonna be able to save black women or women in general from shit like this. And if you buy into it, it just is what it is. I mean, and in this thing, and nobody cares. Like the thing that a lot of sisters, and you even see it with Tommy Lauren. That's why that Tommy Lauren shit was really important, because now people can't just say, "Oh, well, white women are privileged." No, 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 no. They go through the shit too, because the white boys don't give a fuck. You think black men are bad? You think fuckboyism is bad amongst black dudes? White boys really don't give a fuck. They are extremely petty with their fuckboyism. They really are. And the slut shaming and all that shit really comes from them. Like black men ain't really slut shaming women like that. White boys, they will slut shame the shit out of motherfuckers, and they don't give a fuck. And women buy into that by trying to act like all men do it when they know different men operate different ways. But my main point is the dudes y'all want, right? They don't care. So when you all say, "Oh well, we just need to get them to do this and do that," that's true for Tommy. That's true for you. So if you present yourself like this, understand the only thing you good for is fucking. Even if you have an education, the reality is dudes don't give a fuck about their education. They may respect you more if you actually act like a nice person. Now, if you're dealing with dudes that don't give a fuck and they just want to fuck and that's all they see you for, then that is what it is, and that's on you for dealing with them. And I'm not saying that like you shouldn't, but you get what you get. But the reality of the situation is, you know, people are in denial about how much black women actually identify with Cardi B, and you're starting to see it with Megan Thee Stallion. You're starting to see it with obviously Nicki Minaj. Like this whore culture is a lot of these motherfuckers' identity. I mean, our Facebook. Remember Facebook when Facebook started in 2008. So you got what 11 and 12, maybe 13. When you started to see these crazy like kids, like these kids like twerking and shit like that. This is 7 years after that. Think about that. You got motherfuckers that were like 9, 10, 11. They be like 18, 19. Like time flies, and people don't understand that. Appreciate it, NBA fan. Appreciate the super chat. People don't get that shit. And they think this shit is a game, and they think this shit is funny, and then they sound goofy as fuck. Think about it. The women that's calling in Kevin, these are the goofy ass chicks that went and got a degree, and then some of them got a baby. Wait till later on when you got women and they just, well, you should accept me slutting it up. It shouldn't be a problem. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't get what the fuck you talking about. Like the same goofy ass shit, the same goofy ass shit that these women are doing with talk about their degree, dude, you got too much sound. That's why the same goofy ass shit when it comes to people talking about their degrees and just when Kevin asks them simple basic ass questions, they really act like they don't know, like they can't fucking, like they're just not present. It's crazy how when Kevin asks some of the shit he asks, how like they can't even, it's like they never considered it before. And it's the same thing with this whole shit. Like when you hear Zonique, and Zonique is like, well, marriage is just a big commitment. I don't know, bitch, you want to do what the fuck you want to do. That's all that is. And you can do that. But ain't nobody supposed to subsidize that and clean that up. If what T.I. really should have did is said, look, little girl, you want to belong to the streets? I'm going to let the streets know you belong to the fucking streets. And then whatever happens to you, happens to you. Now, Tiny ain't going to let him do that. And he can't do that because he cheats. But that's really how you're supposed to handle that. And if you don't believe me, when you look at a lot of dudes that quote unquote are said to protect their women, they check shit like that. Shit like that is not allowed. Because women that act like that, if they don't deal with them themselves, they let people know that they open to get got. So, I mean, shit like videos like that always trip me out. I mean, I'm not outraged by it because it is funny to me because I know the gifs are coming. But it's like it's just the hypocrisy. When women sit here and they talk about, you know, I'm just tired of this misogyny. It's just making me look like a slut. They're making me like the misogyny is horrible. Like, bitch, black women have fucked up the black female brand more than anybody. Y'all can talk about this hip hop all y'all want to, but the truth is, if y'all didn't promote the music and y'all didn't buy into the music wouldn't exist. If they would not, if black women did not like that whole shit, then the music would not exist. Let's stop getting out of here and start acting like that shit is being put onto them. They just can't help it. They're just so vulnerable to the onslaught of horror music. Let's get the fuck out of here. Anyway, appreciate y'all super chats. I'm gonna release y'all. And with that said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.